Hey, you guys. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. There has been some updates in the Charlie Kirk case. So I wanted to go over it today. As I told you guys, we would kind of keep up with this. So I want to talk about it. Also, I do want to say for the people that saying like it doesn't make sense that you cover this. I saw one comment before the live stream started and they said like this isn't my thing. So to that person specifically and anybody else, I don't recognize your name in the chat. So I don't know for sure if you've watched me very often. But if you have, then you know that reality TV is a big part of my content. But I also cover celebrity news and trending topics that affect pop culture. Charlie Kirk was, you could call him a celebrity, but his death is obviously is trending right now. Everyone's talking about it. When something this major happens, like the attempt on the President Trump, when that happened, I covered it. And now I have to watch my wording, the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. It goes beyond politics. So I'm not covering this to be political. I'm covering this for one, this is not a political issue. This is a humanity issue, but it's also, it would kind of make sense for my channel. It is a really big deal right now. Everyone's talking about it, and it does affect pop culture. It's a trending story right now. So it makes sense. You know, it's what everyone's talking about right now. So I am going to cover it. My channel reflects what's happening in the world, not just one lane. So I definitely think this fits. And if you don't think that it does, that's okay. You don't have to watch. But so let's go ahead, let's get into it because a couple of things have happened. The weapon that they believe was used has been recovered. They also found a footprint on the weapon. They found like a arm print. So there's some prints that have been found. There's also video that was captured by people at the event. People just recording and them being there that captured a guy on the roof. Also, there was another press conference held, and I haven't been able to find the full press conference. Forearm. Thank you, Nat. You got me, girl, when I can't remember what a forearm is called. Thank you. A forearm print. Thank you. So there was another press conference held this morning, and I wasn't able to find the full press conference, but I was able to find clips. So we're going to watch clips, and we're going to watch those clips, talk about what they discuss in these clips in the press conference, the weapon, the guy. And in the press conference, they said they had photos of him, video footage of him, but they wasn't going to release it. But since then, pictures of the suspected shooter have been released. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to go over that as well. So let's go ahead. Let's get into it. We're going to first start with the video from the press conference. And at the end of that video, President Trump makes a statement from the Oval Office. If one wants to say this is political, that's fine. To me, it's not. But let's go ahead. Let's watch that.
Last night, we were able to make a few breakthroughs. We were able to track the movements of the shooter. Starting at 11:52 a.m., the subject arrived on campus, shortly away from campus. We have tracked his movements onto the campus, through the stairwells, up to the roof, across the roof to a shooting location. After the shooting, we were able to track his movements as he moved to the other side of the building, jumped off of the building, and fled off of the campus and into a neighborhood. Our investigators have worked through those neighborhoods, contacting anybody they can with doorbell cameras, witnesses, and have thoroughly worked through those communities, trying to identify any leads. We do have good video footage of this individual. We are not going to release that at this time. We are working through some technologies and some ways to identify this individual. If we are unsuccessful, we will reach out to you as the media and we will push that publicly to help us identify them. But we're confident in our abilities right now, and we would like to move forward in a manner that keeps everyone safe and moves this process appropriately.
This morning, I can tell you that we have recovered what we believe is the weapon that was used in yesterday's shooting. It is a high-powered bolt-action rifle. That rifle was recovered in a wooded area where the shooter had fled. So the FBI laboratory will be analyzing this weapon. Investigators have also collected footwear impression, a palm print, and forearm imprints for analysis. Now, I understand there are a lot of questions about motive. I assure you that all leads, tips are being fully investigated. As of this morning, we have received more than 130 tips. We thank the community for that. The FBI has brought every resource to bear, and we will continue to do so throughout the course of this investigation.
So what I'll release about the suspect is suspect blended in well with a college institution. We're not releasing many details right now, and we will soon. But right now we're not. But that individual appears to be of college age. We are confident in our abilities to track that individual. If we're unsuccessful in identifying them immediately, historically on 9/11, law enforcement has come together as a group to recognize and honor those that sacrificed to preserve the ideals of this country, the freedoms of this country. And instead, we find ourselves today hunting a murderer who chose to violate our rights, the rights of an individual within this country. Yesterday, during the investigative process, we located a couple of persons of interest. We interviewed those individuals, and after releasing them and after clearing them of being suspects, they faced scrutiny, they faced threats. We asked the public to be patient with the investigative process. These individuals were not suspects, they were people of interest. We ask that you do not impose into those people and that investigative process. They don't deserve that harassment for being subject to that.
Charlie was a patriot who devoted his life to the cause of open debate and the country that he loved so much, the United States of America. He fought for liberty, democracy, justice, and the American people. He's a martyr for truth and freedom, and there's never been anyone who was so respected by youth. This is a dark moment for America. Charlie Kirk traveled the nation, joyfully engaging with everyone interested in good faith debate. His mission was to bring young people into the political process, which he did better than anybody ever, to share his love of country and to spread the simple words of common sense. On campuses nationwide, he championed his ideas with courage, logic, humor, and grace. It's a long past time for all Americans and the media to confront the fact that violence and murder are the tragic consequence of demonizing those with whom you disagree day after day, year after year, in the most hateful and despicable way possible. My administration will find each and every one of those who contributed to this atrocity and to other political violence, including the organizations that fund it and support it, as well as those who go after our judges, law enforcement officials, and everyone else who brings order to our country.
Okay, so I see several people in the comment section bringing up that he lowered the flag for Charlie Kirk, but not no content creators should fear for their lives. Exactly. No, especially so Representative Portman, who was unalived in her home, her and her husband, from what I'm reading, and I didn't even know this, you guys. That's the thing, is I was not even aware that this happened until you guys brought it up. But I'll be clear to say I don't really watch the news. I mean, if something's huge like Charlie Kirk, I mean, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. But had I seen it, obviously I would have had something to say about it. So I wanted to Google it to see, like, did he lower the flags? And I'm seeing that he did not. He did not. He did say, he did make a statement. Let me find it again. Where was it at? I did find a statement that he made. Let me see if I can find it. because I wanted to see if he made any statement about it. So when this happened, he said, "I've been briefed on the terrible shooting that took place in Minnesota, which appears to be a targeted attack against lawmakers. Such a horrific violence will not be tolerated in the United States of America. God bless the great people of Minnesota, a truly great place." I want to be clear in saying this, as far as like, the American people, when you see us covering this, we have no control over Trump's actions, why he does or doesn't do something. Um, I feel like Trump is not your average politician, whereas a lot of politicians, they try to balance and be unbiased. Trump is not like that. You know what I'm saying? One thing I've noticed is that he's not like that. Like if he feels like you have attacked him, then he's not going to. Charlie Kirk was a friend of his. Charlie Kirk rallied for him. Charlie Kirk, in my opinion, probably is a part of the reason he was elected. I feel like he probably had a lot to do with it. The way that he uh, promoted Trump, so look at us, just regular people, right? If one of our close friends passes away or is unalive, somebody that we're close friends with, how are we going to feel? What are we going to say? Are we going to make a post on our Facebook page? Are we going to go to their services? Are we going to, be there for the family? Yes. If someone that maybe goes against our beliefs or maybe has attacked us, I don't know if she has. I'm not saying she has. I'm not saying she has. I'm just saying someone that has different beliefs, someone that has been on the other side of him or us, somebody that maybe we don't really get along that well. Are we going to do those things for somebody that we would do for our friend? No. And while our president should be different, I agree to that. One thing is Trump is not like most politicians. Like I do believe when you are a sitting president, any representative that's unallowed, you should make a statement. You should condemn it. If you are going to lower the flags for, Charlie Kirk, then yeah, you have to do it for representatives. But he is clearly different, and so I don't know why he did it, but I just want those of us that's covering this with Charlie Kirk, those of us that's devastated by this, that don't agree with it, don't get it twisted to think that all the things that Trump has done and not done that we are in support of that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it would have been me that was a sitting president and I would have found out that a representative, Republican, Democrat, whatever, I would have lowered the flags. I would have made a statement. You know what I'm saying? But I do feel like Trump is definitely one of those people that if you are not on his side, then he's not going to treat you the way he's going to treat his friends. Does that make sense? Not saying it's the right way to be. I'm not saying that, but I think maybe that's the only explanation I can have for it. Is that's what makes sense to me as someone that kind of keeps up with politics. So yeah. But anyways, so that was bits and pieces from the press conference where they said they had a forearm print, they had a footprint. Also, they talked about, because we saw the picture of the older man that was arrested. He was charged with obstruction, and then there was another person that was arrested. They were both released, but since being released, both have dealt with harassment because people think obviously these two gentlemen have something to do with the unaliving of Charlie Kirk. So the police have asked that we don't do that. But I'm like, that older man who apparently was yelling, "I did it and I will do it again." Sorry, if you get some kind of mean comments, I mean, you did try to take accountability for unaliving someone. But yeah, don't harass anybody. We don't harass anybody. Let's let the authorities do their job, find this man, capture this man, and make him pay for this. So there was we're gonna remove this, and there was a video done by a creator that showed video footage of the possible shooter on the roof. So we're gonna watch that.
What's that?
Okay, so this is obviously one angle from up on top of a building, a balcony, something or another, and two guys were being interviewed, and it starts like during the shot.
Do you know how many mass shooters there have been in America over the last 10 years? Counting or not counting gang violence? Great.
Also, I want to comment on something. I'm going to back this up if I can. Can I back it up? Yeah. You guys see that thing on Charlie's shirt? We're looking, it's on his left, above like the F on the freedom on his shirt, right? Danny says the flags were lowered in Minnesota. Many times it's only in the state unless it's a well-known person all over the U.S. Okay. Thank you, Marcia. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I appreciate you, Marcia. That's the way that I feel. I mean, I do try to keep politics out of it, but this is not a political thing to me. Thank you. So that is a mic. There was a video going around saying that that was the bullet, but it's on his shirt throughout the speech, throughout the yeah, my brain's not working. I am so sorry. Throughout the event. I mean, it happened pretty early on from my understanding. But okay, so he's holding a mic for the event. The mic that he's holding is for the speakers at the event. So everybody can hear that's there. The mic on his shirt is for his YouTube channel and his podcast to record him so they can put this on YouTube and put it in their podcast. Okay. Oh, thank you, Lauren. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. So that is a microphone on his shirt for YouTube, podcasts, and things like that. Because I saw a video going around saying, "Oh, it was the bullet. It hit his shirt. He was wearing a bulletproof vest, and it ricocheted and hit him in the neck." I also saw a side profile of Charlie, and it did not look like he was wearing a bulletproof vest. I don't know if he wears bulletproof vest, but you could literally see like you know, you could see that he wasn't wearing a vest, in my opinion, because you could see the little pokies. I don't want to say what they were. I don't want to get in trouble, but you could see, his mate, So I don't think he was wearing a bulletproof vest. That's the microphone. So if you see that video going around of, oh, that's a bullet, it ricocheted off a vest and it hit him in the neck, I think that's a microphone. I'm pretty sure. I did see the ring switch fingers. I think that is just from like the camera. Sometimes the movement can't keep up with the camera and it will kind of pixelate things. So I think it's due to that. So that's just my opinion.
Counting or not counting gang violence?
Okay, seeing how that mic was on. I mean, it was there before the shot was even fired. Thank you, Jessica. Are you from like Louisiana? Because I know so many people with your last name. Okay, so this is obviously right after the shot was fired. And so this is the UVU courtyard. Right there is where Charlie was sitting, right here. He had a tent up. He was sitting right here. Now, there was video captured by two guys at the event a few minutes before the shooting, and they spotted out there.
Yeah. You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that.
See
So
that?
there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying. He just ran from over, where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in, and now he's right there.
Let me back it out a little here for you. So this is where they were showing the person who's either here or here. It's on one of these two levels. And then Charlie's tent was set up right here. So all the crowd was pretty much gathered in this area. Okay, so Charlie was sitting in his tent right here, marked by this yellow box. And it was facing this way, and he was pretty much situated almost in line with this sidewalk, I would say, right here like this. And so the shooter, from what we can tell from the videos, if it is the shooter, would have been sitting right up here in this corner part of the roof and easily had a line of sight right down to Charlie's neck. And certainly when we saw the video of the shooting there, as you can see, people who were standing back in here in this area, they looked to the right. You're in this area where shots are going to be reverberating all over the place, and it may be hard for people to tell where it came from, but most people seem to turn their heads to the right this way. Okay, now let me show you the video that probably shows the shooter after the fact. And here you can see the shot has just taken place and the audience is ducking for cover and they're getting ready to flee. And so this was taken from just behind Charlie's tent. His tent is right here. So this is upstairs on the second floor in the building right behind him and above his head. But let me take you back to the beginning of it, because maybe you didn't notice this, because it's going to show what I believe is likely to be the shooter. So when it pans over here, watch this roof right over here in the background. That's that building. Okay, so right here in this frame from the video taken on the second floor right above Charlie's head, there's what's most likely the shooter right there. And you're going to watch him going this way and he'll disappear behind this part of the roof. So watch as we pan over. He's moving now. He's getting closer and closer to that. And as we pan over, you're going to see him get closer and closer to the left. And he's going to hide right behind that thing there. So he's probably running to his access point, or however he got up on that roof. And then there's the crowd dispersing there. And here I slowed it down 5x for you and zoomed in so you can get a little bit clearer view of him running on the roof. And there's the best we can see from this view, but I'm sure there's got to be some security cameras that might have captured him.
Yeah. For sure. And that's the thing is, like, this day and age, you really can't do too much. You really can't do too much and not be caught in some way. It's just like the Emmanuel Haro situation, Rebecca Haro, who, was at her stepson's football game and drove to a Big Five to get a mouth guard. And then her son was kidnapped while she was there. And, before they did this, Rebecca and Jay Caro went into the Big Five a week earlier and was like, do y'all have security cameras? Someone broke in our car. We're hoping y'all have security cameras. And they were told, no, we don't. So they thought they were safe to stage a kidnapping in the Big Five parking lot, thinking there were no cameras there. However, a lot of the businesses surrounding the Big Five had cameras. The roadway cameras, like they captured her car. So I mean, you just, and this did happen. I mean, the police said like they were able to track him from like 11:35 that morning, him getting there, him leaving. They were able to track him. And they have pictures of him. I got a shorter little clip video of what we just watched, just like the scene on the roof. Hold on. So there the guy is right there. For what we think.
Get right up.
I wonder.
You think he'd already be in place?
You would think that. So there's somebody on the roof right there? Just saying.
I'm just wondering if they told anybody.
Just ran from over. Where's my finger? Well, from over there, ran in.
I don't know if I'm at a Charlie Kirk event and I see someone on the roof that they ran and now they're laying down. I'm telling the police, and maybe they just didn't think about it. Maybe they thought it was some of Charlie Kirk's team. But I would have found somebody and said, "Hey, listen, there's a man in black on the roof over there, laying down." He ran, laid down, and now he's looking that way towards where Charlie. I don't know if this is part of the team. I don't know if this is police, but you guys need to let Charlie know, the police know, because, yeah, I feel like I would let someone know.
Just saying.
So, I mean, they're like, well, yeah, somebody's over there. I don't know. Somebody's over there. There's a video on X. As soon as the shot hit Charlie, a guy turned around, looked directly at where the shooter was, and started cheering wild. I saw a picture of that. I saw a picture of right after it happened, like everybody ducks down, and this one guy turns and starts cheering. He's like, and I'm like, imagine if they would have said something, even if there wasn't a person. I don't think the event would have been shut down. They could have postponed it for 30 minutes until they figured out who was up there. I mean, look at Trump. What happened with Trump when they attempted to take his life. They knew. People reported. There's a guy on the roof. There's a guy on the roof, and they were trying to figure it out. They didn't postpone it, so he ended up getting shot. But in my opinion, if there's somebody on the roof, postpone it. It's okay. You can even announce from behind the tent. The event will be postponed for a few minutes. Bear with us. You don't have to say why. Therefore, you don't give the shooter any warning that you're on to him, but at least don't start the event. I mean, what at the cost of a man's life, like even if it wasn't him, it's better to be safe than sorry, in my opinion. They supposedly thought it was security. That's what I was thinking. Like they probably thought it was security. All right, let's see. I saw there was an article I wanted to read you guys from TMZ because it was kind of going over some things. The pictures of the guy. Why is that not popping up? Bear with me. Okay. Charlie Kirk, see person of interest in his unaliving. I would really like to call it something else that starts with an A, but I can't do that here because YouTube doesn't like that word. So we're going to jump down where it says the feds just released an image of the person of interest in the Charlie Kirk. The FBI says we are asking for the public's help identifying this person of interest in connection with the fatal of Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University. I saw that, Kay. His wife has a countdown on her IG for an announcement on the 26th. A lot of speculation that she is pregnant, or the 16th. Okay, thank you for the correction. So I have been seeing that as well. And one thing is I know they kept one of their pregnancies secret because I just watched last night. I was watching his wife's videos, his videos, and they kept one of her pregnancies secret, I think, until she had the baby. So that is something that they have been known to do. So I would not be shocked if it could potentially be something like that, which is just even more devastating. FBI Salt Lake City released 2 still images Thursday showing a white man in a black long sleeve shirt and jeans. He's also wearing a hat and dark sunglasses. So here he is. I mean, can I just say, obviously not knowing him, I wouldn't know. But if I knew him and I saw this picture, I think I would know, and I'll tell you why. I know someone that lives a life criminal. You know what I'm saying? I know someone that just criminal, in and out of jail, breaking the law. And there was a while back, pictures of this person that I know popped up on Facebook. Yeah. And it was like, do you know this person? Because they had stole some things. And I was like, that's so-and-so. I mean, they called the person. They called them. But I was like, oh, my God, that is so-and-so. I mean, I was pretty sure because it was somebody that I knew in real life. So I was like, so even though, I felt like people that don't know who this person is in real life, they're probably not going to know. But people that know this, if they didn't know this person in real life, it wasn't like they would see that picture. And if they went into the grocery store later that night and saw him, that they would be like, oh, wait, that's the guy from the picture. I don't think so. The only people that it really is the people that already knew him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, when you know the people and you see a picture like this, you can be like, oh, that's them. But I don't know. With this being such a huge case, people may really take this photo in and look around when they're out and about to see if they see him. But if it wasn't such a big case and this was just something posted on my personal Facebook page by my local police department, I don't know if people would be going around looking. Hold on one second, you guys. I'm sorry. Sorry, guys. That was my son. Practice normally goes to 5:30, but it's over. So I gotta yell at my husband. Hold on. Hey, babe. Hey. Okay, sorry guys. So like I said, with this being such a big case, people may try to take in this picture. It's kind of blurry with today's technology. Could we not have fixed it? I don't know. I have an app where it will kind of fix blurred pictures, but it really didn't do anything for this. It didn't do nothing. So, but yeah, that is the guy. The man's shirt appears to have American flag imagery. One image looks like he's climbing a set of stairs. We've already watched this. Charlie was Wednesday during a speaking event at the UVU campus, and law enforcement say they recovered a bolt-action rifle. Video showed Kirk being in the neck. He was rushed to the hospital where he was pronounced deceased. Christy, exactly. FBI Director Kash Patel said Wednesday a person of interest was taken into custody and then released after questioning. This appears to be a different person of interest. Utah Governor, let me go look at that. He's not touching any right. Oh, he's got his hands closed. Thank you for, that's interesting. Look on this picture. His hands are closed. Almost like he was consciously like, don't grab anything, don't grab anything, don't grab anything. Because he wasn't wearing any gloves. Wearing gloves and walking around wearing gloves would have definitely been a red flag. So, he obviously couldn't do that. He probably wore them when he was committing the act itself. I'm sure he probably wore them. Forearm juices can go through the sleeve. Could you imagine? I'm sure he was sweating. I'm sure the man was probably sweating. They have arm, forearm, and footprint. Yes. Utah Governor Spencer Cox said authorities would find and hold them accountable to the fullest extent of the law, pointing out the death penalty is still on the table in Utah. Trump just landed in Utah. Is he going to the scene or to the site? Video shows a person running across a roof after the fatal gunshot was fired, and it's possible the person in the footage is the shooter. Yes, Kate offered, tell him happy birthday from the Elle Bee family. Absolutely. I heard on P they had a palm print as well. I remember hearing, what did they say in the one that we were just watching? Forearm, footprint, and one other thing. What did they say? Was it palm? Yeah, but I didn't hear anything about fingerprints. Politicians on both sides of the aisle have condemned the shooting, and President Trump says that Charlie was a martyr for freedom and will be receiving America's highest civilian honor, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. Did his wife and kids witness this? I have no idea about that. I've seen conflicting reports. I've seen people say, his daughter was there, but his son wasn't. They were both there. I saw one report saying his daughter was trying to run towards him. I don't know that. I tried to look it up a while ago to see if there was anything that could tell me for sure. Nothing tells me for sure that he was there. So I have no idea. I can pray they weren't, but here's the thing. Even if they weren't there, I'm sure his wife is going to have to be extremely diligent to not see that video. Pretty much his wife would have had to not get on social media at all. She would have had to not get on social media at all yesterday. And she would have to stay off social media probably for the next month to avoid seeing that video. I tell you what, I got on Facebook, saw it. I got on Instagram, saw it. I mean, I will be honest, like I first went looking to see like what happened. I had no idea I was going to see what I saw though. I did not know. Like, I don't know. I'm thinking I'm going to see like not what I saw. I did not think it would be. I thought maybe, the shot and maybe people run towards Charlie. I did not know that it was going to be just blood and ooh, and like it was horrible. I wished I wouldn't have seen it. But even yesterday, like I went to go find something to play for you guys and saw it again. So I was like, oh, I wish there was a way this could be scrubbed from the internet because his family, his kids will be able to see this. It was very graphic. I personally, it is my personal opinion that he died quickly. I know like an hour afterwards there was reports that he was in critical condition, but I don't know. I just where he was shot was in the jugular, and the way I don't I saw the video of them running him to the car to get into the car to leave. I saw that video. And it is. Everyone has a phone now and records everything. It is a curse and a blessing. Right. We all thought it would be like, yeah, exactly. Like I did not. Like traumatized. Oh my goodness. To see that. Can you imagine the people that saw this in person that were there? Stephanie, hey Stephanie says, how do I hype? Is it even an option anymore? I wanted to hype yesterday after seeing you be brave enough to say what's more. Oh, thank you, Stephanie. So after I get off the live and close it up, you have to come back like maybe 10 minutes later, and then I think you can hype. Is that right? They 100% need to take those videos down. His loved ones should not have to see that. I mean, he was not, I get he was an outspoken conservative advocate. I know, like, I get that, but he was a father. He was a son. He was a spouse. He was so much more than just like, you know, what I feel like everybody that's laughing at this and is clapping about this, he was so much more than what they are viewing him as. That was, yeah, I mean, it was a part of his life, but in the grand scheme of things, it was a small part of his life because he had a mom, he had a dad. He was their son. Did he have siblings? I'm not sure, but if he did, he had siblings. I saw that. They booed in the Senate when they wanted to say a prayer for him. And they were like, let's have a moment of silence for Charlie Kirk. And there were people like, no, boo. And I'm like, what? Is this the people that we have representing us? People that will say no, boo? But, there was also people, and let me, hold on. I want to verify this because I think I know what I'm talking about. Sorry for the silence. I'm looking something up, you guys. Bear with me. I'm trying to read. I've seen so much wrong done on both sides. People just being immature. Our politicians just being immature, because they don't like this person. Okay, so DJ Daniel. You guys know what I'm talking about, DJ Daniel? So the day after U.S. President Donald Trump addressed a joint session of Congress on March 4, 2025, a video of Democratic members of Congress in the audience sitting in silence during the speech while Republicans stood and applauded a 13-year-old battling cancer circulated online. Users shared the footage on multiple platforms, including X, Blue Sky, and Reddit, inciting backlash for the Democrats allegedly refusing to stand. One such video received more than 4.5 million views. The video is authentic. It is available to view on C-SPAN YouTube account. The video is from X posted above, starts at approximately 2 hours, 27 minutes, and 48 seconds. When the camera zoomed out and spanned the room at 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 12 seconds, it was clear half the room, the half where the Democratic members of Congress were seated, was in contrast to the Republican half mostly sitting and not clapping at that point. However, the minute prior to the circulated clip, when Trump first introduced DJ Daniel, there were clearly several Democrats clapping. At 2 hours, 20, everybody should have been clapping for that little boy. Okay, hold on. However, let me back up because I lost my space. However, in the minute prior to the circulated clip, when Trump first introduced DJ Daniel, there were clearly several Democrats clapping, as everyone should be. At 2 hours, 26 minutes, and 46 seconds, the video showed U.S. Reps Debbie Wasserman Schultz and Rep Deborah Dingell and several Democrats surrounding them clapped. Dingell briefly clapped as well. A few people on the Democratic side to Trump's right clapped, while others did not. Additionally, it is unclear what Democrats in the room were doing when the cameras did not show them. At approximately 2 hours and 28 minutes, the room began chanting DJ, DJ, DJ. It is impossible to know whether or how many Democrats joined in the chant. At 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 6 seconds, some Democratic members of Congress were briefly seen clapping in the background. It is also important to note that not everyone on the Democratic side of the room was actually a Democratic member of Congress. So this is also how you could kind of get fake news. You know what I'm saying? Because as far as I knew, none of them clapped. I remember watching like a clip going around and me being like, what? Everybody should have been clapping and standing for this boy. But according to this, not everybody even on that side was Democrats. So that's the thing. That is also the thing, is there's so much freaking fake news to attack each other. We don't have to do that. That is what's causing the division. Members of the U.S. Supreme Court and the Joint Chief of State sat in the front row to Trump's right, seen from the back at 2 hours, 28 minutes, and 12 seconds. And while the video clip that primarily circulated the internet is authentic and shows the majority of Democratic members of Congress remained seated and did not clap during Trump's mention of DJ, during angles from other moments during Trump's comments show that many did clap, and that not everyone seated on the right side of the room was actually a Democrat. Therefore, the blanket statement that Democrats refuse to stand or clap for the little boy fighting cancer is not accurate. That's good to know, because I was like, holy crap. Therefore, I already read that. Hold on. Although many appeared to remain seated while the Republican counterparts stood and applauded. Because I was like, how old are we? You're welcome, Tina. How old are we? You know, that we hate the other side so much that when we bring someone like a 13-year-old battling cancer, who I think you passed. Okay, never mind. He has not passed. Well, here I am with the fake news. I need to be careful. But listen, I'm not going to get on here and say something on purpose to purposely make you guys think that one side is being some way and another side is being some way. I might say something by accident, because I did hear that he passed away. Oh, May 2025, his father announced that DJ had been diagnosed with 3 new tumors. This news came as DJ was sworn in as an honorary Secret Service agent in March 2025, an honor that was bestowed upon him by President Trump. Despite being given only 5 months to live in 2018, DJ has surpassed doctors' initial prognosis and continues to live with the disease. In June 2025, he was in the ICU after having brain surgery. Wow. It's so hard to know. It's kind of sickening. Um, all right, let's see. I hope they catch this guy though. It's ridiculous, and no one can argue and disagree without violence. It's disgusting. It's really disgusting. Because I'm like, listen, like Charlie Kirk or not, like, even since this happened, I have watched so many. I have watched so many videos of his. Like, there was a video of him with a girl that was a binary. She was like, I identify non-binary. She was like, I identify as non-binary. Very nice to her. Very, was not nasty to her, was not rude to her. While he may not agreed with her, I didn't see him be nasty. And then there was two girls that were IVF babies. And while he doesn't agree with IVF because you have to, they like throw away the other embryos, and he feels like that's like a disregard to life. Um, he had two girls come to him. They're like, we're IVF. And he was like, while I don't agree with it, I'm glad that you guys are here and y'all should be celebrated. So he was very like, even if he didn't agree with it, like the only time I even seen him come off as like somewhat like throw shade is if I do feel like if like he was come that way. Like if you come to him in good faith wanting to talk, I feel like he would talk. You can't even state your opinions now. Exactly. Oh my goodness, I saw that today and I can't. I saw that video today and it was horrible. It was so bad. It was so bad. So freaking bad, man. Let's see. Oh wow, Charlie Kirk's casket to be flown on Air Force 2 from Utah to Arizona. Right, exactly. Yeah, you know what's so crazy is when 9/11 happened, it literally united us so much. And now here we are, all these years later, divided more than ever. Divided more than ever. Makes me nauseous. We need to get back to the 80s fast. All right, it says Charlie Kirk's casket to be flown on Air Force 2 from Utah to Arizona. Vice President Vance and the Second Lady will fly to Salt Lake City to visit Kirk's family and friends. My thing is like, how can you be mad at Charlie because you think he promotes the use of guns when really he defends his right to bear arms. He does not promote gun violence. He promotes the ability to defend yourself. You know, but a lot of people that say that they don't like him for that are the ones celebrating his death. And I'm like, how can you celebrate his death when he died by a way that you don't agree with? Yeah, I don't think anybody, I mean, we all have a right to say our views. I've seen like, I don't know how he viewed women or black people. So I don't know. I've watched so much of his stuff and I've never got the feeling that he hated anybody or that he wanted anybody to like disappear off the face of the planet or I know he disagreed with people, but I never got the feeling like that he hated anybody or he wanted anybody to he you know what I'm saying? Like, so I don't know. I've seen a couple people say that, and I'm like, I don't know where they get that from. Maybe it's something that I've missed. I don't know. But yeah, we all have a right to say our opinions. And as long as we're not hurting anybody, then that's our God given right. I mean, to say our opinions, to share our thoughts. Okay, let's see. Okay, I don't think he hated anybody. He just didn't feel like there was white privilege and that everybody was equal. Got you. For all of us, got you. All right, so exclusive. The second family will be flying to Salt Lake City, Utah to visit Charlie Kirk's family and a number of close friends on Thursday, September 11th. A source familiar with Fox News Digital said. Um, I'm gonna look into that, Venus. I just watched Brandon Tatum, who is black, and he totally supports him. Brandon Tatum works for him. Brandon Tatum works for Turning Point USA, I do believe. Let me double check that. I watch Brandon Tatum too. So yeah, he does work. He works. He's worked with Charlie Kirk at Turning Point USA. What you got, buddy? Hold on, guys. How was practice? All right, sorry guys. One of the kids came in. Oh no! What? I was watching Brandon when the news came in. Was he live when it came in? That's oh my goodness. I was live when we found out that he passed, but I wasn't live when I found out that he was shot. But I was live when we found out that he passed. But like I said, Brandon knows him. Savannah Chrisley from Chrisley Knows Best, she was going to go on tour with Charlie Kirk next October. All right, so it says Turning Point USA founder 31 was shot fatally Wednesday while speaking at Utah Valley University. Kirk's casket will be flown back on Air Force Two to Phoenix, Arizona, likely on Thursday night, along with family and friends. I'm glad they're doing that for them. Turning Point USA is headquartered in Phoenix. Friends and followers gathered at the headquarters on Wednesday night for a vigil. Vice President J.D. Vance shared a deeply personal remembrance of Kirk in a lengthy post on X, honoring his late friend as a man of courage, faith, and profound loyalty. Kurt was a close confidant of Vance's, both personally and politically. Their friendship stretched from early skepticism about Donald Trump in 2016 to the height of the 2024 campaign trail. Vance's candid social media reflection gave a rare glimpse into Kirk's influence, not only on the conservative movement, but also on the very formation of the Trump Vance team. Charlie was one of the first people I called when I thought about running for Senate in early 2021, Vance wrote. We talked through everything from the strategy to the fundraising to the grassroots of the movement he knew so well. He introduced me to some of the people who would run my campaign and also to Donald Trump Jr. Kirk, a longtime advocate for young people in the conservative movement, was described by Vance as pivotal to President Trump's decision making process and his selection as running mate in 2024. You know what? Hold on, bear with me because I think, let's see. We're gonna watch a few clips. We're gonna watch a few clips of him because, like I said, I never saw him do anything out of what I felt was hatred. Just sharing his opinions and his beliefs. So I want to watch a little bit of him with you guys.
Hi. Oh, my name's Erin. I'm a really big fan, and I'm really excited to see both of you. I'm a little stressed because I feel like I could ask about, gun violence. I could ask about anti-Semitism on campus, but I feel like with
Girl, let me ask about your bra. Where is it? Unless you wear one of them Kim Kardashian bras that comes with the nips. Let's continue. Sorry.
opportunity like this, I would really appreciate some personal advice. I'm here at the University of Pittsburgh as a social work major, and I'm really passionate about it. However, I have found that I'm leaning a little bit more Republican, and I feel like I come at a standstill with that. And I really just want to get your advice moving forward for myself. There's some obvious things I think you can think that would conflict, obviously. I guess that's kind of my question. What advice do you have for me as a Republican aspiring social worker?
What would conflict?
I don't know, like, how to say it properly.
I think I can help. The social work industry is very much about a perspective generally of that people in poverty are there permanently and not trying to break people out of poverty into the middle class or higher levels.
Right.
And that's why the Democrat Party and social work are very intertwined.
Right, exactly.
They view
Wow,
poverty
Jay.
not as a series of choices, but as a station in life that is immovable largely.
Right.
Is that fair to say?
That is fair to say. That's why my personal focus is on the children in underprivileged communities, because I personally feel like they don't choose to be put in that position. But I'm having a little bit of a difficult time empathizing with the older generation of underprivileged, and not in every community, but I don't know how to not sound bad. I know you are great at not sounding bad when you say stuff, but I don't want to say something that'll get me in trouble.
Well, here's one way to look at it. And Charlie, that was helpful, actually. The Great Society from Lyndon Johnson. It was a series of policies that were designed to help underprivileged communities.
Oh, this is I've seen this one here before. Hold on.
Mexico applies. Bless you.
Trump 2024.
Yes, that you want a hat?
Thank you.
Yes, great. Thank you.
Those asylum
According
seekers.
to the way that the asylum laws are written, the entire nation of Mexico applies under asylum. Do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America? Is diversity and inclusion really an American ideal?
I knew
Are you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here? Do you think that the American government should first have a obligation to
This is
citizens
clip
before
too, because he
foreigners?
does let her talk, because I saw
Nobody
this
is
one.
asking these questions. We're just saying, if you want to come in, you can come in. Do you see anything wrong with, I don't know, taking in 5% of the population of Haiti? If someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
If I'm not gonna do my own dishes, heck yeah.
You're no, ain't nobody staying at my house.
All right.
Hello.
Oh, hi. I'm gonna start off by saying I'm a political science student. I'm a second year here at K-State. And I'm a first generation student.
Try to turn it up a little bit.
Turn it up a little bit.
Yeah, perfect. Great. Thank you. And what's your name again?
Alondra
Nice to meet
Alvarez. Yeah. So I just had a question, because you talk a lot about like protecting and securing our southern borders. But as the granddaughter of immigrants, I think that we get into a lot of complicated disputes with the idea that immigrants are criminals, are drug dealers, and things like that. So I just want to hear what your opinion is on those expectations, or those what do you call it? Those stereotypes that are put on Hispanic communities, Latino communities, and how they change the way people perceive immigration.
Sure. So, thank you for the question. So you said you're the first generation
Yes, I
student
am.
or first generation American?
I'm a first generation student.
Cool, great. Second generation American? Did I hear that right? Or
Third generation
Cool.
American on my mom's side.
Great.
Second on my dad's.
when your grandparents, then, is that right, came
Yes.
to this country, did they do so through the legal process that was in front of them?
So my father got married to my mother, so he's a legal resident of the United States. She's been here her entire life.
But did she enter legally?
She did.
Okay.
She's born here. Yeah.
Got it.
My grandpa on my dad's side entered in illegally.
Okay. So I'm not here to like insult your grandpa, right? But
See, I feel like even when he disagreed with people, he would say, like, I'm not trying to insult you. This is just my opinions. And Kay, I looked this up because I was like, what did he say? You know, like what happened here? For those that don't know. There was May 24, 2022, there was a gunman that entered in an elementary school in Texas. UVAB, I think that's how it's pronounced, and unalived 19 children and 2 teachers. So the police responded, but they waited more than an hour before confronting the shooter. There were 911 calls from students begging for help. I'm not trying to cherry pick. I'm trying to just show like content. You know what I'm saying? But if you have something you want me to show, because yesterday we showed him saying something that you guys, I mean, that people that don't like him came in and was like, "What about him saying this?" So I was like, "Well, send it to me. We'll watch it. We'll watch it, and I'll give you my thoughts on it." I have never, well, I have seen this clip, but I have never seen this particular video. I just went to Charlie Kirk debates and clicked on the first one, so I have no idea what all will be in this. I've seen this particular clip, but I have not seen this video itself. This clip is in several videos, I'm assuming, because I've seen it. So I don't really know how I'm cherry picking when I don't even like, I just clicked on a video. You know what I'm saying? I just clicked on a video, not really sure what it would entail. Okay, so law enforcement responded, but waited more than an hour before confronting the shooter, despite 911 calls from students inside begging for help. Obviously, officers were heavily criticized for their hesitation, their lack of coordination, and failing to follow active shooter protocols. Right. So the protocols obviously say that police should move in immediately to stop the threat. Investigations later confirm systemic failures in leadership training and communication among local police, school police, and state agencies. So Brandon Tatum's response, this was his response. Brandon Tatum, who is a former police officer and now is on YouTube, he weighed in and he defended the officers at least partially in his early commentary. His reasoning included this. Yeah, there's hours of him debating. There's no way to watch all of them exactly. And this is just what I'm pulling up that happened. I would, this is what I'm pulling up happened. That he did defend the officers at least partially in his early commentary. And this was the reasons. He argued that the public was rushing to judge before full details were available. He pointed out how chaotic an active shooter situation is, saying that critics underestimate the dangers of rushing into a gunfight unprepared. He speculated that police may have believed the shooter was barricaded and not actively killing anyone, which may have shifted their strategy. Tatum often defends law enforcement in controversial incidences, emphasizing how different situations look to officers on the ground compared to the public after the fact. So he has loyalty to law enforcement, obviously, because he's a former officer. So he tends to give the police the benefit of the doubt. He often argues that media and politicians jump too quickly to blame cops, which fits his broader commentary style. He stresses that people who haven't been in high-risk police situations may not understand how decisions are made in seconds under pressure. Over time, even some police supporters admitted that the situation that happened, the response and everything was deeply flawed, but Tatum's defense was mostly rooted in his instinct to stand with cops first until all the facts came out. No. Yeah, I'm talking about Tatum.
Yeah, but we must be very clear that the type of immigration that we support is when you follow our rules and you come on our terms, and that you do not break into a country uninvited and you try to cut.
Can I add something to that? The reason why he left, and a lot of people in Mexico do, is because of the political state, especially in the 70s and 80s, when they decided to move.
And listen, I'm not saying him saying, obviously the situation was not handled correctly, and maybe if they would have moved in more quickly, if they would not have waited an hour, whatever they were doing, maybe people would not have. Maybe people, so many people would not have lost their lives. It was, I think, 19 children and 2 adults, right? Yeah, 2 teachers, 19. That's devastating. That is sickening. It's devastating. It's sickening. It's almost like, when you're a parent versus not a parent, and you're talking to your friend and she don't have kids, and she's like, well, I tell you what, if, when I have kids, if they do X, Y, and Z, I'm going to do blah, 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 blah. And you're like, well, I have kids, and I know it's not that easy. because all these other factors are at play. So I can kind of understand him wanting to defend the police. Well, I will have to agree to disagree with what Tatum said. The proof is shown. Yeah, and many police officers said the way that it was handled was wrong. And I don't know if he ever changed his stance, because it said here that that was his stance initially. I don't know. So, I mean, it definitely seems like it was handled wrong to wait an hour. And I don't know the situation completely, but to wait an hour, I mean, the guy could have took over the whole school in an hour. And could have took way more, I mean, so yeah, obviously it was not handled right. Kay said he never changed it. Well, I don't think, I don't know. Well, I would have to disagree with him on that too, because an hour is. I watched the actual conference with actual proof. This is why the whole department was fired. Wow, the whole department was fired. Then I would think he definitely has, if the department was even fired over this, then he needs to do a little bit more research. I get it. He may want to defend the police officers, but yeah. I mean, I can understand why somebody that works for the police department, you want to give them the benefit of the doubt. And you may think, well, as a former police officer, you guys don't know what it's like in a high stress situation to deal with this kind of stuff. You're not an officer. You don't. So I can understand like them thinking that. But yeah, an hour is wild. If even it can be understood, yeah, you guys handled this wrong. And because of that, lives were lost way more than needed to be. And the whole department is fired. Then I wouldn't know why he wouldn't admit that they obviously handled it wrong. I don't know.
They have a government that isn't supportive of their constituents. And because of drug problems, their only choice was to move.
Yeah, I totally sympathize. That's not true. It's never the only choice to commit a crime. And we should not put up with it. And so it is an insult to other immigrants from Vietnam and Laos and Pakistan that have to wait decades in line to morally equivalate people that come in and just break in. Oh, I have an unstable country. Like half of the world's countries are unstable.
Yeah, but that's why we have the asylum seekers program,
which is heavily abused. And we're talking two different things. Asylum seekers and walking into the country illegally are similar but different things, right? And so we have millions of gotaways of people that we have no idea who they are. They're not declaring asylum. They just run across the border.
Well, because they can't. The system doesn't allow other people from Mexico specifically to assign themselves
who they are the last couple of years. So look, we just have to be very clear with this, is that if you come into the country uninvited, you have committed a crime and you are a criminal. And we could decide that we're not going to enforce our laws, or we can say that when you are a criminal, you should then be punished for that crime, aka sent back to your country of origin, because you were not invited. And it is an insult, again, to the Poles and to the Czechoslovakians and from the Senegalese and people all across the world that don't have the proximity or the luxury just to waltz into America.
You call it a luxury to leave a country that has political tyranny and come into a country with opportunity?
Yes, to live in Mexico, to be able to go 100 miles north and break into America. Do you know how many people in Pakistan would kill to be on that border?
That's why we bring them in.
Well, we shouldn't, right? That's the point. And secondly, do you think that you have a right to immigrate to America?
I think that I didn't have a choice. My grandparents made that decision for me.
And I'm not trying to attack your grandparents, but no one has a right to go to anybody else's country. You are invited. It is a privilege, not a right, to come into America.
So it's a privilege to live a life that requires you to have clean water, clean food, clean air.
Yes, of course it is.
And you have to fight for that?
Yes, it is not.
But we didn't?
Hold on a sec. Well,
born here, we didn't fight for that?
Well, my ancestors did fight for that, actually, and I'm a very thankful recipient of many generations of Americans that fought for the greatest nation ever to exist.
By doing what? Coming here?
Well,
illegally?
Wait, what did my ancestors do? They came over here in 1620, fought in the Revolutionary War, fought in the Civil War, fought in World War I.
So because my grandpa didn't come here in 1620, it gives him no right to have a good life?
He can fill out paperwork and wait in line like the rest of the world. And then we can see whether or not it's in our best interest to allow him to come in. And so we have to weigh costs and benefits. I'm not saying we should have no immigrants, but immigration must be a net benefit for the American homeland and for the American citizen. We have brought in 10 million people in these last couple of years. We have now brought in 5% of the population of Haiti. Nobody is asking these questions. We're just saying, if you want to come in, you can come in. Do you see anything wrong with, I don't know, taking in 5% of the population of Haiti?
Not necessarily, no. If we have the land and the resources to house them, it shouldn't be that big deal to bring in immigrants.
Really? So do you think that the American government should first have a obligation to citizens before foreigners?
Lucas, darn fell asleep.
Okay, I think we have an
answer
obligation.
the question. Yeah.
Here's the thing. Yeah, we're obligated because we're citizens to have the rights that we have, but that doesn't mean we can't open up our borders
that's not
when
the
we
question.
have the process
Hold on a second.
to do so.
You, being a younger American, and everyone in the audience, is the first generation in American history to have it be worse off than your parents. So the social, and you agree with that, social contract, poor, more expensive. Yeah. So wouldn't it be rational for the American government to say, we're going to prioritize younger generation Americans that are American passport holders and citizens before those in another nation?
I don't want to say anything that offends people, but
I've
already
ahead.
said it, right? I've already said it. Whatever. I think that the way we're going about it is wrong. And that if we don't have a clear path to citizenship, we won't open up those opportunities for people to come and seek a good life. But I also think that, we are required to have those rights ourselves.
Seeking a
as
good
American
life
citizens.
is fine. It's a nice added benefit. Our government does not exist to improve the life of foreign citizens.
But we should be open to the idea of accepting that.
Of course we are, if we have our own house in order. We are in chaos right now. We have the most depressed, suicidal, anxious generation in history. Our birth rate is collapsing. Kids can't afford homes. Yeah. You guys are drowning in debt. You have to compete for jobs against foreigners. Our country is a mess right now. And so when your country is a mess and your home is in disarray and bedlam, your own government should say, time out. I have a heart for the people of Haiti. I have a heart for the people of every country. But you're not coming here until this generation at least has it as good as their parents.
But it's the stereotype that I'm given as a Mexican American to fulfill those standards that people have on immigration as well.
I don't share that. I haven't said that here today. There's people from all over the world that enter the southern border now. There's 118 countries that come across the southern border. But I don't care if you enter illegally from Bulgaria or from Laos or from Mexico or from Nicaragua. Someone who does not have their paperwork when they come in is by definition breaking federal law.
Yeah.
And so then what should we do with someone who breaks with federal law?
But does that mean that people, including their children, their grandchildren, including myself, have to live with the stereotype or the standard set upon me that I am a criminal, I am a drug dealer, I am a XYZ?
Okay, so I played into that stereotype.
I've heard it many, many times, not from you specifically today.
Okay, but then it's a little bit of a red herring, right? Because we're not even talking about it. I'm not.
Well, my original question was, what do you think about it?
What do I think about stereotypes?
About the stereotype given to immigrants right now and children of immigrants and people of color here.
Well, I can't talk about something I don't believe in. So, I mean, I don't want people to be stereotyped. No different than when you look at a young white man on campus, you think he's a rapist, right? Which is...
No, I don't.
Well, that's good. No, but that is a stereotype that is pushed sometimes. Like, oh, if you see a young man on campus, it's campus rape culture. Stereotyping is wrong. It should not occur. But we also must understand that the way that we constitute our immigration policy right now in this country is not in the benefit of the American citizen. And we're acting much more like a colony than a country. And where a country is where you have ties that bind you together, you have a shared history, hopefully a shared language, you have a shared culture, where a colony is you come from anywhere across the world and so be it.
Yeah, but isn't that like the point of America? Diversity and inclusion and belonging.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Where is that in the Constitution or the Declaration that diversity and inclusion, these are false ideals that are taught in school. They're, I guess, nice, but is diversity and inclusion really an American ideal?
I think so.
Where does it say that?
I think that everyone has the right to live out their own individuality, their own lives, and their own way.
I know, but you say the American ideal. Where do you get that from? Yeah, pursuit of happiness for Americans. You're right, because that's what the Declaration
I'm an American.
For. No, that's fine.
Does that mean I'm not valid here for having a diverse background?
No, of course you are. But I'm saying that what?
So can I not express that?
No, don't change the topic. You said we should be able to open up the country for people from all across the world.
Yeah.
Why do we believe?
My reason in playing this is, you don't have to agree with what Charlie is saying. Is every time I've ever watched him talk to people, I've never seen him like attack, or even if he disagrees, he'll say like, I respectfully disagree. So that's why I want to play clips of him, because I'm like, I just think, all these people's like, oh, he's hate-filled. Why? Because he doesn't believe like maybe what you believe, or you know what I'm saying? Like, how is he hate-filled? Then by the same standards, then would you be hate-filled towards someone that doesn't agree with you? Because I've watched so many of his videos because they're interesting to me, and I've never, like, I can't say I've ever seen him just attack someone. I mean, if I have and you want to send it to me, you can.
That is a core belief.
Because we want to help people. That's the point. We came here a
Got it.
long time ago. We established a country a long time ago, and we want to have other people come in, I think, to live in the luxury that we live in now.
Last question. Are you okay with deporting every illegal person that's here?
No.
Why?
Because there's some people here that are not represented well by the media. There's a lot of illegal immigrants here that are working their butts off for the life that they want.
I don't care if they're working hard. But the point is, what should the punishment be for breaking into a country?
Depends on the crime you commit after you break into it.
Okay. No, that's it. I'm talking about just the crime is breaking in. What should the punishment be? I break into somebody's home. What should their punishment be?
Can you repeat that?
Oh, so if you behave after you get here, that's fine. So to play that out, if someone comes into your dorm room uninvited and they do the dishes and laundry, they can stay?
Yeah, that's from my understanding as well.
If I'm not going to do my own dishes, heck yeah. They're doing my dishes for me. Cool. If they don't kill me, I'm not dead. It is what
you don't know if they're not going to. That's the point. You don't know if they're not going to. You can't just welcome anybody into your house because they might do your dishes. I mean, look at literally what happened with the girl. I can't think of her name. She wasn't from here, but she gets on a train with a man and has her AirPods in and she's just sitting. And I mean, he wasn't an immigrant, but I'm just saying, like, you can't just trust people around you willy-nilly. You can't trust to get on a train and the person sitting behind you is okay. So do we just want to randomly bring people in, I mean, like, and not do background checks and not make sure they're not criminals. And like Charlie said, we need to see if they're going to be beneficial to us and if they are okay to bring in, if they're safe. She was from the UK and fled because of the war. The fact that she's like, oh, well, yeah, sure, if they're going to do my dishes, I'll bring them in as long as they don't kill me. Well, guess what? You're not going to know if they're going to kill you until they kill you, and then you're dead.
It is, man.
Well, they are killing a lot of Americans, but...
You say they. Like, they are?
Yes,
like,
they.
All illegal immigrants kill people? That's crazy.
Many illegals do. Actually, the crime rate for illegals is far above that of native-born Americans. Yeah. And even if it wasn't, it would not be there. No, but it's just interesting. The punishment for the crime of breaking into a nation should be what it is in Switzerland and Israel and Hungary. Every person who breaks into a nation uninvited goes back to their country of origin, period.
So why is there an emphasis on the southern border?
Because most people come illegally through the southern border. 10 million people have come across the southern border. And by the way, do you have any concern for the 320?
I don't think if you're talking about Kate Offer, where she said Ukraine, no, because I was reading Nat's comment and Nat said UK, and I wanted to, and then I saw Kate Offer's where she said Ukraine. So I think she was just making sure I knew that she was from the Ukraine and not the United Kingdom. So I think I don't think she was being sarcastic, unless are you saying? Unless you're responding to something else.
3,000 missing kids that have also been sex trafficked across the southern border.
Oh, of course I do.
But who's doing the sex trafficking?
A handful of people, not everybody else.
320,000. That's a lot.
The children.
Yeah, but each one of them has a handler.
Okay, let me go look.
So, and that means that 320,000 sex pimps are bringing in sex slaves to this country.
The point I'm trying to make is that we categorize all illegal immigrants under the same thing: sex traffickers, drug dealers.
Am I doing
that?
By
you saying all illegal immigrants have to be deported, you're implying that all of them are doing these terrible things, and not a small percentage of them.
Well, it's not small, actually. 320,000 out of 10 million is not small, actually. That's a serious number. That's 3.2% of all people that came into the country are connected to sex slavery in some way. That's insane, actually. 3.2% are connected to sex slavery. That's like a lot. But anyway, so let's just kind of, I want to just make clear, if you come into a country uninvited, definitionally you are a criminal.
We're just not going to agree.
It's fine. Then
That's
final
okay.
question. What is a criminal?
What is a criminal?
No. What is it? Would you agree with the definition that a criminal is someone who breaks the law?
Here's where I'm thinking. Here's the thing. I know how he's going to turn it, and I don't fully agree.
It's not a matter of turning it. It's a very ABC sequence. If they're not criminals, then tell me what a criminal is. And a criminal is obviously someone who breaks the law. Someone who comes across the southern border broke federal law. Therefore, they are a criminal.
Okay, then we can just disagree.
But you have to tell me what a criminal is, though.
Trump.
Oh, Trump.
Trump.
Yeah.
Yo.
You got to come up to the mic. Okay.
She's right behind me.
Yeah.
Have fun.
Can't tell me what a criminal is. Yeah. It's so sad. It's because if you want to really get down to it at the core, and she's a very sweet person who was there, the left cannot define core terms. Criminal, woman, racist, democracy.
Do you feel proud of yourself for debating college kids who are unprepared to speak in front of an audience like yourself? Hold on. You're 30 years old. We can agree you're 30 years old, right? Do you think that's a little bit silly?
Are you a voter?
I am a voter. I'm a
so
registered
I
voter.
vote and you vote. So I'm talking to voters of this country that will determine the future of Western civilization. That's what I'm doing here today. Yeah? Wait, hold on. How is it any different than a professor talking to you?
Then a professor talking to you? Who are you?
Well, important enough for you to come up to a microphone.
Actually, when I first saw this ad, I thought it was like an improv comedy thing. It looked so ridiculous that I didn't even think it was real.
Well, no, you could see. Look how popular Trump is on your campus. How does that make you feel? That's not comedy. That is a 5-alarm fire for Kamala Harris because she's probably going to lose Pennsylvania.
Look.
But no, I just want to be clear. Is there something wrong with talking to voters?
No, there's nothing wrong with talking.
Well, that's
to
what we're
voters.
doing here today. It's an open
I
mic.
think that you push a dangerous agenda.
Such as?
Your stance on abortion rights, for example.
Here we go. Okay, so
let me ask a question. What is your name?
Jean.
Jean. And what is your understanding of the current Republican Party's stance on federal intervention in abortion?
Well, I know that they want to bring it back to the states, right?
I'm so sorry,
It sounds
not
like you
your
do know that the Republican Party's current stance on abortion is they're against a federal ban on abortion.
I do.
I really hate to hear that. That's sad. I don't think politics should, if you've been friends with somebody for 20 years, then obviously they know you well enough to know you're a good person, or they think that you're a good person. So obviously, my thing is like, people, the side that they lean is because they think is the right side. They think it aligns with their beliefs, and maybe there's some things they don't know. Maybe there's some things that's misunderstood. That they think that they know, and that's why they lean that way. Maybe they need to do more research. Maybe I need to do more research. But people lean the way that they think aligns with them. But if you've known somebody for 20 years and they've always been good to you, but they have a different political stance than you, that's not a reason to not be their friend. You've been friends with them for 20 years.
Do you
And we're
understand
talking
that?
about a
Yes.
presidential election as the
Yes.
important election that we're talking about here.
I understand that. Yes.
Great. So again, I think this open dialogue is great. I think it's great you're here challenging Charlie, and I think it's great that he's willing to travel campuses across this country to talk to the next generation. We need more conversation. Now, where's the disagreement, though, on content? Because you could criticize style or why you're talking to people or dunk on someone personally, but where do you actually disagree with
I
the
agree
substance?
with the way that you edit content and specifically frame it so that people look bad talking to you. The way that you edit your content.
we post unedited content.
Let me just ask you one thing though, because personal insults can fly in all directions. Where is an area where you have a disagreement with the conservative movement, with Donald Trump, with Charlie Kirk, perhaps with myself? I was a presidential candidate last year. I think we need to talk about that more in the open, and the more we do, the stronger our country is going to be. We got a long line of people, but I want to hear from you. One substantive area where you have an authentic disagreement, and I'd be glad to address it. I'm sure Charlie would too.
Just in
anything, relating to any political topic where you have a disagreement. Let's air it.
Okay. I disagree with some of the
real quick. She came up there hot. She was the one that called Trump a criminal, which obviously they don't agree with. You know, thank you, B. But they got her up there and they're trying to talk to her. They're not, you know, demonizing her. They're not attacking her. They're like, tell us how you feel. Tell us what policies you disagree with. Let's have a conversation.
Laws that are being pushed in Congress that are against the LGBTQ community and the trans community.
Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to give you my view, and then I want to hear yours.
Okay.
My view is that if you're a fully grown adult, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want, dress how you want, marry who you want if you want, if you're over the age of 18.
I agree.
But you are not free to indoctrinate children in schools who are not yet of the age of consent. You are not free, just as you're a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old can't get a tattoo on their own, I don't think that you should be able to go or until the age of 18. And so the lines that I draw here is that men are free to claim to be women and swim in swimming pools. You're not free to claim trophies in a women's sports competition. You're not free to enter a women's locker room. You're not free to change a language, and you're not free to actually indoctrinate our children who are under the age of 5 in schools. Do we agree on the fact that adults should be able to live freely while still treating children differently? If so, we're on the same side of this issue.
Listen, I agree with the majority of what you said. However, I don't think that you're understanding the implications of the laws that are trying to be passed.
Look, we got a head start on the conversation. We got a long line behind you, but my only ask is forget the personal attacks or the stylistic attacks. Focus on substance. The more we debate that, the stronger we're going to be as a country. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I don't think you're focusing on
Hey,
substance, though.
Hey, B, what email did you send it to? I'm not seeing it anywhere. I'm not seeing it at my officially Elle Bee or NetNet.
That's the issue.
Hold on. Look, he intentionally tried to provoke substance out of you. And you said, well, I'm worried about some laws Congress should pass. I have to ask, what laws are you talking about? Can you be specific?
I'm sorry, I'm very nervous, but this is what you do. This is what you do. You take people and you put them under the spotlight, and you.
Well, hold on. I didn't ask you to come up here. You voluntarily came to the front of the line. You didn't have to do that.
You're purposely antagonizing people on campus, asking
How?
people to come up by spreading your weird agenda.
How? What agenda is that? I'm confused though.
So Charlie, I'll say this. We'll end on this and we'll go to the next question. When I was 18, and I'm not going to blame you for this, I also took for granted a lot of the stuff that the media force-fed me, because that's what you know at the age of 18. You say there are some vague laws making their way through Congress that are hostile to trans community.
Know how?
I don't think those laws actually exist, but I don't blame you if that's what the cable media is feeding you. But let's get to the specifics, and then we're able to actually have an open dialogue. And that's one of the things I've learned over the last 20 years.
I think that the issue is we're getting our media from different sources. Both people are getting media from these skewed sources. The facts that you're presenting are not always correct.
And that's why we're here with no TV screens between us. So people who have policy-based substantive disagreements, we invite those. I think that's how we're going to get our country back. And as it relates to trans, which you brought up, 18 or above, you're free to live how you want. You're not free to force that onto somebody else, or especially kids. And if we agree on that, we make some progress. Thank you.
Disagreements, yeah.
I don't feel like that was figured out. Like they were.
So I tend to lean liberal on a lot of issues, but specifically on immigration, when I hear about like the Haitians in Ohio, taking over cities, and the thing about eating people's pets, I don't know if that's true.
It is true.
But I was wondering if you could speak a little bit on that specifically, and I'm kind of torn on the election. So if you could also speak on if we have more instances like that in the future, if Kamala Harris gets voted.
Yeah, it's a great. First of all, thank you for coming up to the mic. And I want to try to win you over as a liberal for Donald Trump. So you're going to give me a chance, okay?
I will, sir.
All right, okay.
You come in with good faith, he's going to have good faith as well, and he's going to talk to you. And even if you don't, I can't I've really ever seen him be like nasty or crude or rude. But that's just the clips that I've seen. I've seen a lot of them. If you are somebody that don't like Charlie Kirk, you can send me the reasons why. I'll try to respond. Because I don't see everything. I'm sure there's some things that I have missed, possibly, but anything that somebody brings to my attention, I am more than willing to respond to. To take the podium. Fabry, I want to meet a 30.
That is a true open mind, so I appreciate that. Number one, we have accepted 5% of the Haitian population in this country in the last couple of years. I have nothing against Haitians. I know some Haitians. We can all agree when you accept 5% of any country's population, in addition to all the other mass migration we have, it's too much, it's unsustainable, and a government must start from this core premise. It must have an obligation to fulfill a better life for its own citizens before it opens its border to non-citizens. It's a very, very basic, fundamental thing. And as I said earlier, everybody in this audience is seeing their future worse off than their parents for the first time since George Washington. That's a big deal. Usually, at least kids are as good, if not better, than their parents, and we have that broken. As far as Donald Trump goes, there are 3 things I want you to think about when voting for Trump. Number 1, home ownership. I imagine you want to own a home sometime in your life, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. In order to own a home, you would have to make $125,000 a year right now just to be able to get the mortgage. That doesn't count your medical expenses, your student debt expenses, your credit card expenses. When Trump was president, it was $75,000 a year. We were building millions of new homes. Incomes were going up. Why is it that the housing prices have gone up so much? Because Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have spent $6 to $7 trillion of unnecessary federal spending, flooded the zone with these trillions of dollars, which have inflated asset prices. Number 2, as a liberal, I imagine you don't like war, right? You don't like endless war. Under Donald Trump, it was the first president in 40 years where we had no new wars. No Iraq war, no Syrian war, no Russian-Ukraine war. Under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, we have the Russian-Ukrainian war that we've spent $250 billion on. We have the terrible situation in Israel and Gaza. I'm very pro-Israel. We can all agree, though, not a good situation, right? Not favorable. It's just bad. A lot of human suffering, not good to witness. Under Donald Trump, none of that happened. In fact, he brought peace to the Middle East. We had the Abraham Accords, and we had a stable international circumstance. The final thing is the border. Under Donald Trump, the southern border was the most secure it was in American history, with border crossings at an all-time low. Under Kamala Harris, 10 million people have come across the southern border into this country. We have no idea who they are. They're coming into our communities. Crime is increasing. They're eating ducks and geese and cats in Springfield, Ohio. And that's just like a silly example. It's totally true, by the way.
Why?
Yeah, go ahead.
Why? When I looked it up, because the reason I'm asking you is because there's a lot of misinformation. I feel like because when I first heard about your side of the story is what I heard, and then after that, I was hearing that there's no proof of that. So why is that?
Well, there is proof. I mean, we have tons of video I could show you of residents saying that my cat was taken by a Haitian yesterday morning and was grilled on an open fire. They won't accept it as a police report. I know way too much about Springfield, Ohio police reports right now, but they won't accept it as a police report because it's an animal control problem. It's just, again, you have to just look at the residents. Either they're all lying and they're all in on it, or there's something to this. I'm not asking you to vote for Trump based on, cats being kidnapped and grilled and barbecued. I am saying, though, that it begs a question of, can we sustain 10 million people? I want you guys to understand how many 10 million people is. We have 10 million illegals that have come to the country, which is the population of New Jersey. Okay, that is an unsustainable amount. Under Donald Trump, we had the border secure and it will stay secure. So those 3 things, we had a great economy under Trump and it was easier for you guys to own homes. We had no wars, and you guys are closer to World War III than ever before. You guys that are all, by the way, military age, I hope you don't get into World War III because you might be drafted under the current circumstance, and you guys might laugh. But think about who is endorsing Kamala Harris. Dick Cheney, Leon Panetta, Liz Cheney. These are the warmongers of 20 years ago that got us into these wars. So I am not fear-mongering here, guys. The people that got us into these failed wars, by the way, this is 9/11 today, and we remember what happened on 9/11. And then we remember our terrible reaction on 9/11 when we decided to invade Iraq and Afghanistan. Let us never do that again. Let us never invade sovereign countries. Amen. And I think you would sympathize with that. I agree. And this is why we're seeing Bobby Kennedy, Elon Musk, Tulsi Gabbard, people that are card-carrying Democrats, vote for Trump and voice support for Trump, because what's happening at the Democrat Party is this very sinister combination. It's a party of censorship. It's a party of war, a party of open borders that is against actual traditional liberal values.
I agree.
So which way you leaning?
Can I get a hat?
That's a good answer. Thanks, man. God bless. Thank you. Thank you.
I was looking stuff up, and I saw somebody come in saying that they had caught the guy, but I'm not. I was looking for that, you guys. Hold on, Raw's alert, but I can't find anything confirming that. Law enforcement has the the name of the person of interest, but there's. Let me see. Let me look that up then. I mean, they released a picture of him, but I've watched a lot of all of them. Candace Owens, David Hogg, Charlie Kirk, several of them. Okay, what is this? Raw's alert. We're gonna get off in just a little bit, you guys. I just want to see. It's been a devastating week for the. I know exactly. Ben Shapiro, yeah. I'm just saying I've watched all of them. I've watched several, just to hear what people got to say. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I agree with everything. I'm just saying I've watched to hear what they say, because I can't be like, oh, I don't like him. You know, if I don't ever watch. All right. So right now, okay, no, let's see. Breaking, law enforcement has the name of the person of interest and Charlie Kirk, according to CBS. Right, I agree. So I went to CBS. I went to CBS to see, just it's wet. Like I just went into CBS News and I don't see anything, so I'm not sure. Charlie Kirk updated 27 minutes ago. Charlie Kirk shot and killed at Utah event. Manhunt for shooter ongoing. Search for his killer continues. Timeline of the fatal shooting. So I'm not even seeing anything on CBS News. So let me do this. Let's go to CBS over on X and see. All right, bear with me. Yeah, I get it. Federal law enforcement believe it has identified the name of the person of interest, according to 2 U.S. officials and a law enforcement source. So far, however, no arrest has been issued. Well, if they know the name, I mean, we've got a picture. If they do know the name, then I suspect an arrest will come down the pipe soon. Wow. Yeah, they did put up a $100,000 reward. They did put up a $100,000 reward. But anyways, you guys, we're gonna go ahead and close this one out. We've been on for an hour and 40 minutes, just going over the updates. Obviously, if they catch him, we'll come back. We'll do another one. I'm probably gonna continue to do my regular content on here as well. It is weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like yesterday, I was like, might do a video about Tyler talking about homeschool, you know, reality TV star Tyler from Teen Mom. But it just felt so weird. Like, and even when I was like, oh, I'm going to go live on TikTok to watch the Grizzlies, it almost felt weird, like going from something so heavy and serious to then just switching back to reality TV stuff. But it did take my mind away from it for a little bit last night to watch the Grizzlies with you guys. We will be watching Welcome to Plathville tonight at 7:30 on TikTok. So make sure you follow me there. If, like I said, if they do capture the guy, we will go live again and we'll cover that. And I may do one more live here. You should definitely start a political channel. You know, try to keep, you know, my husband, he's very much, that is more, he knows way more than I do. My husband is way more into politics than I am. We're both pretty political people, but we keep our opinions off this channel a little bit just because I feel like it's not what people come to. Like when I'm covering reality TV, I feel like people don't come here for that. Samantha, thank you so much. Jojo, you don't want to see it. Open conversation, right? Open conversation. Yeah, I mean, for the people that's already, I know maybe under an alias, because people's already like, I suspect you're this, so I'm going to unfollow. And it's like, my husband's channel is 10-piece 85. I think it is in my description. Yes. So at the top of my description, it's going to give a link to the press conference. It's going to give a link to my other channel, Fatal Files, and it's going to give a link to my husband's channel. So if you want to find my husband or my other channel, it's at the top of the description. Yeah, with cancel culture, you got to be very careful. I mean, Charlie Kirk just, you know, look up the bullhorn guy debate. A bullhorn guy debate. Okay, let's look at that. Bullhorn guy debate. I am pulling up a lot of other stuff, so I'm not sure what you're talking about. Let's see. Are you with this? You're welcome. Okay.
Since you're so smart, show the world how smart you are. We'll give you our mic, not your bullhorn. So come on up.
Is it this?
So now we know that you're like a blatant narcissist that needs attention at all times to cut in line. Tell us what's so pressing that you needed it.
Oh, okay. So I do remember this. I've seen this before. Is this what you're talking about? Because he was in the back yelling on the bullhorn. I can't remember what he was yelling, but he was interfering with Charlie talking to other people.
Interrupt us before he could even talk.
So let's talk about the 200 people deported without due process to El Salvador. I don't know if you saw this morning, but a United States citizen was actually deported.
It was not a U.S. citizen. That's not correct.
Liar.
It's not a U.S. citizen. It
What?
was actually.
Come on.
No, it was someone that was living here. Yeah, it was not a U.S. citizen.
Hey, this guy just lies. He it's not.
No.
Hey, no. You wanna have a debate, but you don't.
It was
debate.
not a U.S. citizen. First of all.
You want to have a debate, but you actually don't debate. There's nothing more ill-fated than this.
So
you're not.
we already have a mic.
Name 2 times. Name 2 times where you
Show me you're losing without telling me you're losing.
What? So you're just gonna lie?
Well, first of all, it's not a U.S. citizen. He was living here for a while. He was part of MS-13. Answer yes or no.
Okay.
Should members of a terrorist organization be able to stay in the United States after they've murdered, raped, and gone after American citizens?
Obviously, no.
So we have deported those people back to their country.
He's a liar.
So
He can't debate. He just lies.
You've now sworn like 3 times. Let's just
What,
calm
you don't
down
like
a little
freedom
bit.
of speech?
Well, I mean, you could say whatever you want if you want to make a fool of yourself, but we do have like 10-year-olds here and 11-year-olds, so can we have some decency?
Whatever.
Okay, you don't care. You're a typical leftist because you only care about yourself,
Who said I was
not
a
about the
leftist?
other people.
Who said I was a leftist?
Well, it's very clear by how you're acting. Come up to the mic.
Oh, okay, you guys. That does kind of look like him because here he is again. That I mean, yeah. I mean, so hard to tell because the other picture's blurry, but kind of. Sky Valdez. Let me see. Sky. I don't know if I said that right. Oh, wait. Hold up. Hold the phone. What and what? What am I looking at right now? Because this is a picture of the guy that you just said, apparently. This is apparently a picture of Sky. Wait, no, this is the guy. Okay, I guess people think this is Sky because his name was under this picture. Hold on. All right, let me get a picture of Sky because, yep, apparently a lot of people think that it's him. I'm seeing like pictures everywhere. All right. So here, okay, somebody cleaned the picture up of the guy apparently. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm like, is he wearing the same damn thing? Okay, so here is the picture cleaned up. Here is Sky. Mm-hmm. How many of those are AI generated? See, that's the thing. It's so hard to freaking tell. You never even know. Anyways, you guys, we're doing close now. We're almost at the nose does look a little bit different. His nose is more pointed. The bridge is more pointed, where Sky's has a round tip. So yeah, it does look different. Now maybe the chin. But anyways, I'm just gonna wait until we get official word because there's so much fake stuff going on. So you guys let me your thoughts in the comment section below. We'll keep up with this situation. I'm going to try to go live. I may do one more live on here today. I also have to record some TikToks and stuff. I have to get some stuff up on TikTok. So if I don't go live again on here tonight, I will be live over on TikTok at 7:30 Central Time to watch Welcome to Plathville. So you guys make sure you go follow me over on TikTok, and I'll see you guys this afternoon over there. Bye, guys.